Thank you for joining Wars of the Roses. And this is Einstein and his New Theory of Space Part 1 by Manly P. Hall. An article taken from The All-Seeing Eye, Volume 5, Number 3, December 1930. Einstein and his New Theory of Space Part 1 by Manly P. Hall. The more cultured of the pagan Greeks, Brahmins and Chinese were all familiar with what Einstein is now bringing to the attention of the modern scientific world. Space was the foundation of everything, and without this primitive and inevitable hypothesis, no understanding concerning the origin or purpose of existence was possible. Einstein is now correcting the popular fallacy that matter is eating up space. There is a belief that form is expanding and overflowing, as it were, into the abyss surrounding it. If this concept were correct, the abyss of space would ultimately be filled by the encroachments or increase in the substance of matter. This is an erroneous idea, declares Einstein. In fact, the reverse is true. Space is continually eating up matter, and ultimately all matter will be reabsorbed by and vanish into space. With the removal of the belief in the eternity of matter, the premises of the materialist must collapse, and science lose one of the chief supporting pillars of its temple of knowledge. By a certain school of science, matter is regarded as the primitive substance of every form, projection, or compound of matter. To this claim, philosophy says no, that all forms are but projections of space. Space, not matter, was in the beginning. Space, not matter, will be in the end. Existing in the phenomenal state, we are drawn inevitably into the vortex of space, and by virtue of our material organisms, are inevitably mortal. When space, which is dimensionless, measureless, limitless, and formless, has devoured all matter, we will then have a problem in abstraction, identical with the Buddhistic concept of nirvana. Einstein's space-devouring matter, its own progeny, is the same ancient Kronos who ate his own children. It is inconceivable that we will ever be able actually to analyze space, for analysis is predicated upon the power to break a compound up into its constituent parts. And how shall be isolate elements which cannot be approached or discerned by any physical or intellectual process? The problem of space is entirely too elusive for the mind. And when the intellect undertakes its solution, it pounds itself to pieces against an immeasurable fullness which to human perception resembles only a vacuum. Intellect itself is a condition of matter, and therefore incapable of knowing that which is superior to matter, for nothing can function on a higher level than its own constitution permits. As no thing can ever know more than the sum of its own parts, so the mind can never comprehend that which is superior to the sum of intellection. Space is an incalculable field or area through which is continually moving the traffic of vibration and impulse. In this infinity, there is constantly being developed an infinitude of evolving individualities, the diversity of matter flowing from the unity of life. What then, shall we say, is matter? In the last analysis, it is invisible and intangible, being almost as subtle as space itself. It is a polarity of space, charged, as it were, with the impulse towards individualization. There is the great triad of space, matter, and form. Form is the idea or pattern, for when infinite units of energy or matter are grouped together, they manifest as an organization or form. Space is eternal, matter temporal, and form corporeal. Matter is incorporeal, and yet not eternal. Space is the infinite, abiding permanence. What we call phenomena and its origin, existing in these three primary states, constitute the three original divinities of the philosophic triad, which in theology becomes God in the person of the Trinity. The Father God is space, the devourer of his progeny. Space must devour everything that comes out of it, for in the ancient catechism there is nothing real but space. To the average person, this may sound like an absurdity, but reality defined in terms of philosophy has the quality of permanence. Is there anything in the material universe which will not ultimately rust, corrode, decay, or disintegrate? All men, great or small, depart from the theater of action, and their bones are resolved to dust by time. The mountains fall into the sea is dried up by the fires of the earth, the flames themselves are dissipated by the winds. Nothing remains but the all-inclusive space which endures when everything else has been worn away by the ceaseless beat of duration. To be continued. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to share, like, subscribe and comment, and if you can, please consider donating to Wars of the Roses. Links to PayPal and Patreon are in the description. Thank you so very much.